on today to do the food. As you can see, the food here is all indulgent sweet stuff and a couple of savoury things, cheesecakes, carrot cake with a frosted topping, muffins, flapjacks, white chocolate brownies, and a lovely indulgent cheesecake with a chocolate topping, and an explosion cake for anybody that's finished their competition and wants to indulge in their favourite desserts.
Help if you could elaborate on the importance or no importance on stretching or massage and before or after and stuff like that, because this is my biggest pain. My biggest pain is the thought of having to stretch. I hate it with passion, and I'm trying to do everything to avoid it. And people, are saying like, oh, you don't have to do this all the time. But I find my muscle being very sort of like tight and shortened, and I'm getting lots of knots, and then causing a lot of pain, on my joints, and then I got to cheesed off and whatever. So this is my struggle. My struggle is the stretching. When, how much, why?
I'll do an analogy that most people use, just said there, why do you have to stretch, why bother? For the women in here, you get your hoover out, you plug it in, and you start hoovering. And you're hoovering, and all of a sudden you can't go with the hoover no more. You know you've got about 6 or 7 more inches where you can do that corner, and it doesn't go, and you think, why not? And you go back. There's a knot. You think, how the fuck did that knot get in there when I've just unwound that? It's exactly so you have to undo the what? And the knot, you think, well, how did that knot get in? Because you couldn't do that knot if you tried. But you also, your body responds like that as well. You're straining away and you will get knots. And you'll think, I can't have knots. We all get knots. The muscle gets tense, it gets stressed, it gets knots in it. And we don't deal with it. So your hoover cord gets low, gets smaller and smaller. You can hoover less and less. Your muscles are exactly the same, they do less and less for you because you get knots in them. You get your big knots, then you get your satellite knots as well. So you get the knot there and then the muscle goes, fucking hell, what's going on? And then you get little knots all over it. You need to deal with this. Mobility is something that should be done every single day. There is no rest from mobility. You have to find your evil roller. You have to find your evil ball. You have to find your back balls, which I bought Wendy and Kay for Christmas. And you have to use them. And you don't have to think, oh, I'll just do it then. Every single day of my life, I do my mobility from whichever muscle. And it's usually my knee because I've had, like Wendy in the past. And now I'm suffering the results of knee injuries that are so bad that I need new knees. But when they told me I needed new knees 7 years ago, I didn't know who we were talking to. I was thinking, who's been talking about these knees? And I went out and I retrained and I did all my therapy and I learned all about making sure that your muscles are long. Because if they're long, they're attached to joints, and then your joints don't suffer as a result. People go, I can't lie on my IT band. I couldn't lie on my IT band to start with. Now I can roll up and down it. It hurts, and it's not nice, but I do it every day, because if I don't do it every day, I'm not squatting that week. I'm genuinely not squatting that week.
I cannot touch my IT.
Well, you can't touch your IT band now, but if you dealt with it, you could. And the nice thing is that we've got therapists out there. We've got good therapists, good, not physiotherapists, therapists as well as the physiotherapists, and they can start you off in your stretching by doing some massage, but then you have to continue it. You can't just keep saying, I'm going to go and see such and such a body at the end of the week, and they're going to fix me. They'll fix you there and then, but if you don't fix up for the rest of that week, you're seriously in trouble. Seriously, because that knot will go, bastard, you dealt with me then, but I'm going to come straight back on you because of the way you move. We all move in a certain way. We've all got left dominant, right dominant sides, got short muscles in one side because of what we've done in life. Most people are starting to do this because they do that or they do that. So we're all coming over, so we've got tight pecs, we've got medial rotation, and they do that. They go, why can't I put the bar in? And I'm like, Quasimodo, you can't do it because you don't deal with stretching what's going on in front. And doing that before you train isn't going to work. You have to really get in there, you really have to dig deep, and you have to deal with your pain. And a knot will come, and if you go bang on it, the knot will get tighter. Be kind to your knots. Just be kind to them, and push into them and push into them and push into them until they start to work their way out. You see people in the gym before they start training, and they're doing all this stretching. You think, what are they doing? If another analogy, you've got a shoe, you've got your shoelace, so you've got your knot in your shoes, you're undoing your shoes. If you stretch this end and this end, you've still got the knot in the middle, and all you're doing is you're pulling end ranges, your knot's still there. Deal with your knot, and then you've got longer strings to tie your shoelaces. Think about that before you train. Think about getting on a roller. In America, I teach level 3. In this country, level 3 is taught to our personal trainers to get your client on a treadmill, get them there, get them a little bit warm, and then do a bit of this static stretching. What the fuck is this? You go to any gym in America, you've got a special room where you roll on the floor. You roll and you've got nice music, you've put your headphones on, whatever you're doing. Roll your muscles out. Make them longer, don't make them weaker by doing static stretching. And it will work. And it takes a long time. I can overhead squat now with, and this is for me, my age, with, and I've had a total dislocation of my shoulder, total right out, knobby me doing a bench press, such stupid bench press. I can do an overhead squat with 40 kilo, an overhead squat. So that is good for somebody that was just told 7 years ago, you need new knees. So deal with your knots.
I just wanted to get your opinion again on bands, because again, if you look at social media now, the band work with like for legs and whatever.
Band work?
Yeah. How beneficial, yeah, the banded work to
right.
like for glute activation, all those things. Because it's very popular now. I'm just wondering your opinion again.
What, you mean the tiny band when they're going something like that?
Yeah.
It works. Your resistance is the band, and the band is that resistance, isn't it? So it will never get no better once you can work within that resistance. Yeah. Your muscles need constant attention, and they need to be stressed. You're not going to get that band to do all that across the floor. And so, yes, band work is good. Band work is very, very good for doing mobilisation. So when we went to the last seminar, when we went to Wendy's, I was teaching some stuff to teach for mobilisation for hamstrings. Really, really good for getting your hamstrings loose. Yeah, really good for rehab work as well. But they're only the tension on them is the tension that you've got. That's all you'll get. Then you'll never get beyond that. So you're not getting any stronger once you've got to that strength of that tension in that band. Good for teaching a chin.
It's good for activating muscles as well, like you have. If you activate, say, for example, your glutes before you squat, activate them first by using band work. But I think they're overused as well. They're a new gimmick. They do work, but they're overused.
I just wanted to ask you guys how you cope with your life balance while prepping. Because it's quite all-consuming.
She looks okay.
For me, I'm single. That says it all.
I think, from a personal point of view, I'm very lucky. I have cage support speed all the time. And I think there's people out there who don't get that support, which makes life. Bodybuilding's difficult anyway, whether you have a partner who supports you or not. So if you're up against their disagreeing with what you're doing, then it's going to make it twice as hard. And I don't personally think you need that in your life. If you haven't got a stable relationship, forget about competing, because you're just going to add stress to a stressful situation. However, if you have got a partner and they understand, keep them informed of what you're doing. Don't block anything out. Communicate with each other. Tell them this is how it's going to be. I'm going to be a horrible person to live with. And it is selfish. Bodybuilding is a selfish sport. And I think, whether they disagree or not, I think not just in bodybuilding, but every field, to be successful at the top, your life can't be balanced. You have to be obsessed by your craft. Top boxers, entrepreneurs, musicians, bankers, politicians, your life revolves around this to get to the top of your game. Fair enough if you don't want to get to the top and you're quite happy at amateur level, and that's fine, because not everyone wants to do that. But if you really want to be up here, then you have to prepare to sacrifice what it takes to be up there. Because if you're not, you're guaranteed that someone else is. And it all boils down to how much you want to be up there. And if that's the case, then you've got to have a strong partner as well.
I think as well, if you're or you're working with a prep coach, or you are a prep coach, that you actually meet the family. Because if you don't meet the family, you don't meet the team that's behind the athlete, and if there isn't a team behind the athlete isn't going to get there. And so I would always insist on meeting the partner and the children. Meeting them, because they play a huge part in this person's life and what's going to happen to them over the next few months. And you have to make it plain to the people around them that this is going to happen. And if you've got perhaps coaches that aren't doing that, and they're only working with the client, you alienate the client from the family situation. And it's the team. And then when the coach takes all the credit on the day, it's got nothing to do, you're a tool in the box. All the family behind them put up with the shit. Everybody's putting up with the shit from the person at the top. So everybody has to be involved, not just one person taking the credit for this.
Yeah, this is my life. I've chosen to live this life, and I'm proud of who I am. And no one's made me do it. So I know what's coming. I know that the sacrifice I have to make, how hard it's going to be. It's not tough. Yeah, I've done it for 20 odd years, but it doesn't get any easier, because you're still putting yourself through that every year. And sometimes, because you know what's coming, then it can become harder. And the more successful you are, the more you want to beat that version of you. So now it's kind of more pressure on myself. I put on myself to beat me last year. And that's coming from me, no one else. So I agree with Mike, I chose to it because I still, despite how hard it is, I love it. I do.
How do you deal with the come down after a show? Or
I got asked this,
the day after that.
I got asked this question at the last one, and my answer's still the same. The moment I come off the stage, I'm looking for my next one. That's how I cope, because I don't know what I'm going to be like when I retire. But now, when I come off stage, I'm like, right, I would know why I didn't win, what mistakes I made, or what I was missing. And my mindset straight away is on for next year, on the next time I step on stage.
And to follow that, how do you deal with when you're told, like, you know, you needed to do something different, but they can't give you a solid response as to what you could have done differently to place higher, and you think I'm being BS here, but you know, so how do you do that?
It's the federation, isn't it? I mean, you know what I think about federation anyway, Julia. So there was nothing wrong with you on the day, and it's trying to convince you now there was nothing wrong with you on the day. What was wrong was the federation was wrong. And we spoke about that before. But it's afterwards, it's the diet and so forth afterwards, and it's you wanting it more for next time. So you have to keep that in mind for your next show. Just forget what happened, because you can't do anything about it. You really can't.
For a personal experience, I tried women's physique 1 year, 2 years ago, failed miserably. I thought when women's physique first came out, I thought, oh, I'm not the biggest of girls, so maybe I would fit more into women's physique. So I went all the way to Louisiana. I think there was 24 in my class. It came about 7th or 8th, but the judges didn't even look at me. I think, like Jenny was saying, I walked in and I was trying to catch Kay's attention when I was on stage because I was mad. They weren't even looking at me, they were looking down, and I thought, so I travelled all the way from home to Louisiana, and the judges weren't even looking at me, and I was so angry. So I went afterwards, asked their opinion, and they said, you need to go back to women's bodybuilding. So the judges there told me to go to women's physique. So now I do listen, but I play to my own tune. I'm a bodybuilder at heart. I'm not a physique girl, because I had to change my ways of training for physique and stuff. So I'll do what I want to do. Like Lisa was saying before, I'm a bodybuilder, so I will go to bodybuilding and be judged as a bodybuilder.
We're women. We've got to take care of our skin and our hair and our look and our voices, and downstairs as well. If you buy something from somebody, how do you know that it's real? You don't know it's real. Let me tell you now, I know some of these people that manufacture this stuff, and I know that they will sell Primo in a bottle that's labelled Primo, and it will be a base test. Primo is something in the region of £33,000 a kilo to buy. A base test is £500 to £1,000 a kilo. Why are you, some backstreet supplement steroid supplier, going to bother? So you're buying something that you think is good, and you're not getting something that's good. And you will have an upside. Everybody has an upside when they start taking it. Everybody. You get a bit stronger. You're having it. You're having it. You will be having it, and then there will be a downside. And if anybody's ever seen any of the films, seen an athlete when she first starts out, you think, whoa, and then you see that, whoa, and then you go, whoa. Yeah. You know that is because probably somebody said to her, that's real. What does that mean? That's real. Oh, it's real, right? That's real. It's a 10 ml bottle, it's real. It doesn't mean it's real. Be careful what you do. In my days, you didn't have to be careful because there was nothing more than careful. Not today. You really have to be careful.
How do you feel about bikini girls?
I couldn't believe it.
Bikini girls take it, bikini girls take it. That's because they've got the genetics to do it.
I just don't get it. I don't understand it. But then again, I don't understand bikini anyway. I don't understand some of the posing of bikini. No. I don't.
Show pose, Kim.
I went to a show with Michael and Alicia down at the table, and they went, all the girls turned around. I genuinely haven't been to a bodybuilding show for a very, very big political reason for 7 years. So they all turned around, these girls, and I looked at them. And then they went, take 2 steps forward and show the judges your back. How did your crack become your back? And I went, what the fuck? If your daughter was on that stage, how would you feel as a dad with your daughter bending over like that? I used to get my tits out in pictures. So I didn't please my dad at all. I couldn't understand why, but I didn't please my dad. But this has gone beyond that now. I think it's more pornographic, and so but the girls taking the gear who are in bikini, why bother? Well, I don't get it. I don't get it. They don't even know what they're taking. So if you're taking a base test and you want to be a bikini girl, well, you're not, are you? You're going to be a bearded monster in no time. It's so fast, and everybody wants everything now. You don't want to work for it, so they take stuff. But you don't see these athletes again year after year.
And that's the thing, I think, with drugs, people are too impatient. Yeah. And they want all the results yesterday. And that goes for guys as well. They're not prepared to put in the work, and so how long will it take you? I've trained for over 22 years. And I'm still here, I'm still competing. But tell that someone now who started out, oh, I can't do that long. You know, you have to put in the work, it's not all about drugs. But that's what we are in today. With bikini girls, men physique, they take way too much and they don't even know what to take. That's it. And for what?
Invariably when somebody is making drugs in a back street, it probably isn't that amount in it anyway. But then once they're taking that, then they go into more and more and more things. And it becomes a cycle of abuse on yourself. And you don't know what you're taking, and invariably it might not even be a menstrual. Probably a base test.
Let me just put it like this. Right? We are in the middle of making a cupcake. Yeah? It sounds a bit naive, but we're making a cupcake. At the end of the day, without your flour, your training, without your egg, your rest, without all this, no mind the sprinkle on the top, without no cupcake, we haven't got anything. So until we got that cupcake ready, iced and ready to go, the sprinkles on the top, we'll talk about another day. Because to me, without that cupcake, no matter how much sprinkle, if there is no cupcake, you'll never ever get anything. Yeah?
It's like we were talking about supplements earlier. It's just that 1-2% extra. You've still got to have your training, your diet and your rest in place. Then think about, and we say for most of us, that couple of percent, is it really worth it? Probably not.
I told someone how long it took me to place in my first finals, which was 9 years, and they said to me, well, I can't wait that long. Well, it took me 12 years to win my first Britain. I'm not waiting for 12 years. You know, and I'm looking at it and thinking, I train better than you, I have better start than you, and my diet is really good. It took me that long. Yeah, so what they do, they just go straight on gear.
And you also
been
got
trained.
things going as well about how many federations and when they compete. Because someone was on the BBC who was in the B&B Equity and she won a pro card in figure, and she proudly saying to her won only in 6 months, but she competed in the IFBB the year before and didn't place.
Yeah.
So how was that your first year? I'm confused.
Build a
But people are
foundation.
saying she didn't really well the first 6
I
months.
might do. It's just the
So that's
icing
the
on the
kind of
cake.
stories as well. People don't think everything is not real.
There's a downside to female bodybuilding, and I'm sure you've all been victims to it. Victims in the respect of men that join your Facebook and your Instagram and send you messages. The muscle worshippers, the schmoes. Be careful with them. Be careful, they come in different guises. You get the ones that put the big pictures on there, the big women, and tell you, can I kiss your feet, can I do this, that and the other. And you get the ones that are sneaky all about it. That use their dogs. Dogs. I'm blaming them. Three-legged dogs. Three-legged dogs. To get your attention. Just be careful of these men. These men.
Don't give them a chance.
Don't give them a chance. Be careful of these men now. Be careful. There's women as well that do it out there. There's women that will come onto your websites and they're just strange. Just be aware of your company. Be aware of who's buying you things, who's doing things for you, who's talking to you on these social media sites, or who takes you to dinner.
He took a picture of what he had done in his front room, and it was littered with my pictures on Facebook. And I do not, the closest, and this the only thing that I can think of that makes him think I am one, that go around and do these things. The pictures I have where I'm dressed up are always from hotel rooms, because I don't really go out in London at all. So it's always on holidays, and I get just, oh, I'm in a dress now, take a picture. My husband, yeah, so that could be the reason why they think I might travel the world and earn money that way.
There's code words that they use. Yeah. They use. Do you travel?
Yeah.
Do you do sessions?
And unfortunately, I had a lot of travelling pictures on my. Yeah. And he had taken my pictures and had them printed out and put in frames around in his house, and I had never freaked so much in my life.
There used to be a particular company that used to, a supplement company, not so many years ago, that used to ask for girls to go and be sponsored, but it was to start up sponsored athletes, and then from this particular supplement owner would ask these girls if they'd like to do some private pictures for £30. And he would take the pictures, and they had to take negligees and see-through knickers. And invariably the girls would be on a photo shoot and they'd say, well, we'll do it now, and they'd have a little bit, few things with them, or they'd do it at later times, and they would do these photo shoots. And they would be promised to get these shots back. They would never get the shots back. Then they realised they were on a pay-per-view site, and they were never going to get them back. And from then on in, those pictures are out there with these guys who love this.
Yeah.
Do you think that because some females choose to do that, do you think you're all targeted the same brush sometimes by, I don't know, by all men or?
No, they know that when you go to these.
I think they try. I think all schmoes try,
yeah, but then they know.
Yeah.
There's. I mean, they don't come anywhere near me. Click, they got the message. But sorry, yeah. But they will still try. And some are respectful and they'll say, okay, nice to meet you, and off they go. But others will still try, and they'll hang around shoots, they'll do photos, they'll hang around and they'll get chased away. But then they'll go to the ones who clearly do it all the time, and you'll see them hanging out with them all weekend. But then the placings reflect that as well, because clearly they're more concerned about making money with their clients than they are on what they produce on the stage, and that shows come contest time. And I think that is a problem that Lee's had. She didn't do as well as she could have done, or could do, because she's more interested in that sort of line. In the photo shoots and making money to be that. Which, if that's what she wants to do, absolutely fine. But then she shouldn't grumble about a place and how she looks and blaming the coach.
Yeah, I think there's one particular female bodybuilder who married a millionaire. She married him. And after she'd married him, he didn't want her no more. She was his. And that was the end of it. There was a lot to follow, but that was it. Once you're theirs, that's it. They don't need you no more. They move on to the next one.
And then what you've got to be aware of as well is the females who are doing it try and entice you or to do it as well.
Yeah, so...
Because...
Good luck with that.
Because they're making so much money, and they'll say, I'll come for photo shoots. But if you didn't know, you would innocently go and do photo shoots. Until you find out what the photo shoots are, and then if that's what you want to do, crack on. But it's not for me.
Are there any plans to do a European version of the Wings of Strength?
They've got 4 shows in Italy this year. Obviously the Wings of Strength is the Wings of Strength, so that's at the Olympia. But there's a show in Romania this year and there's 4 shows in Italy this year.
Okay. What are you thinking of when you've got the other girls aside or when you're coming on, what is your mental state like at that time?
I think I just make sure I hit my poses exactly, because I practice posing all the time. That's always down with her, they can do it for all the time.
So is that going through your mind?
So when I get on stage, it just happens. Because if you don't practice and you're upstage, you don't find well, you're going to try that a little bit harder because you're on stage. So if you're used to pausing, it's going to flow more. You've got to be confident. You've got to believe in yourself. Because if you're up there and you don't look like you want to be up there, then why should they look at you? You know, you should be proud.
Your mental state.
So the mental state is, I love being up there.
Yeah.
I don't want to get off.
Right.
And it's, for me, I'm proud to be up there.
How do you cope with the client in the gym that wants to, you know all the tried and tested stuff that work, getting prepped for a show, but they want to do these silly, fussy things that they've seen that we know don't work really.
Let them do
and
it.
they're actually paying you to train them and we know it doesn't work.
Well, first and foremost, we discuss this thing that they want to do and then maybe try it, because you have to give somebody that you have to value their opinion as well. And it might work, there might be some aspects of it that might work, and then you might see something from it that you can then progress and then take them down another avenue, so that we can continue with what they're doing but make it more feasible for what they need or what they're doing. And so I would always try ideas, always, and you never block off ideas and say that's shit, because there's always something good for everything.
With training, did you guys prefer training on your own, or did you prefer training with a partner, or did you vary it?
For me, from my time in the sport, there was no other female bodybuilders around. So I did it, and you had guys that came along and trained with you. I trained at a tiny little gym, and I won the British from this tiny little gym back in the 80s, and I had nobody to help. And then the girl who was our only pro bodybuilder at the time, Carolyn Cheshire, she had a modelling agency in Gold's Gym in London, and I went up to London to join her agency. And I went in there, and there was a few famous bodybuilders that I was like, and I said, I want to join your agency, and they went, who are you? I won the Britain last week. And he went, well, where do you train? I said, Simply Leisure. And he went, well, we don't know you. And then I thought, oh, that's it. I need to start training with people and being around these people. So invariably I will train sometimes with guys. I'm a loner. I don't care about anybody else. It's me. It's me. I can shut my door on a Friday and not see somebody tomorrow, and I wouldn't give a shit. So I will train on my own all the time. But we'll train with somebody if they're going to train hard. I ain't just going in the gym, and I used to go in the gym and go, well, we're training today, we're training back. Okay. I ain't training with somebody I'm dragging. I go in with somebody and say, well, we're going to do back, and you would have an intelligent conversation with somebody. I'm not soaking anyone up and taking them round. I do that in my life as a PT. I'm not doing it in my life on my terms.
Did you spend some time in the gym with Sarah Bridges when she first started out?
Sarah Bridges was my training partner up into the Olympia. And then Sarah and I had a fallout over the jealousy that existed with another female bodybuilder. And so Sarah went off and did her own thing. She didn't look like that when she trained with me.
Training partners, it depends who you're going to train with. If you train like Kim says, I want to train with people who end up PTing or dragging around, or who can't be bothered. I'd rather train on my own. But I'd rather have a care trainer to be with when she can, but I'm funny as I need to know who, if you can't help me or you're not going to train the way I do, then I'd rather train on my own. I'm a training guys anyway, my training partners are Aunt Bill, I love training with, my friends, I know, mostly guys. I like to be the weakest, or so I can follow the people I try and catch. I don't like to be the leader, I like to go second as Petra.
You've also got to trust your training partner
yes,
as well, because when they pass you a weight, you've got to pass you a weight, and you ain't got to do the weight, because that's no good. That's no good for any of us that have got terrible OCDs. Don't put a weight on me and then you're going to start hunching it up off me, or getting behind me, hunching up off the floor. You've got to be able to do it. You've also got to know that they can step in at any given moment. You're not like this, and then you fall over or something. You've got to trust your training partner. It's a relationship, and sometimes that causes problems in your relationships otherwise, because this relationship is like a love story. You have to have this person touch you physically. They have to know your psychology. You have to know when you're farting. You have to know everything about you. So you're with that person for a lot longer than you're probably with the people that you actually love. It has to be a good relationship. And I trust that. Do you all think that you learn something?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.